Imagine if your life could be dramatically transformed, not by some magical potion or overnight success, but by a force so powerful it can move mountains. This isn't a fairy tale, it's the power of faith in God. Faith that, even in its smallest form, can change your circumstances and open doors to the supernatural. This isn't about eliminating difficulties, but about facing them with a steadfast hope, knowing that God is in control. Dive into this exploration of how faith can sustain you through trials, protect you from fear, and guarantee rewards both in this life and the next. Ever wondered why some people seem to navigate life's storms with an unshakable calm, while others are constantly tossed about by every wave? The difference often lies in their level of faith. Faith isn't just a passive belief, it's a living, breathing force that connects you to a God who can do the impossible. By examining the lives of biblical figures like Noah, Moses, Abraham, Joseph, David, and Job, you'll see how their unwavering trust in God led to incredible victories, miracles, and personal transformations. Jesus himself is the ultimate example, teaching that prayer and trust in him are essential for receiving answers and living a life filled with purpose. But how do you cultivate such faith? It's not just about reciting prayers or attending church services. It's about a daily, intimate connection with God. That's why the message emphasizes the importance of prayer as a fundamental tool for strengthening your faith and deepening your relationship with Him. Imagine having a devotional of 30 days of prayer to guide you on this journey, helping you to experience a life of faith more profoundly. This isn't just about getting through the day, it's about living each day with a sense of purpose and hope, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. The journey of faith isn't easy, but it's worth every challenge. It's about facing trials with the assurance that God is not only aware of your struggles but is actively working to bring you through them. By the end, you'll be invited to surrender your worries to God, trusting in His faithfulness. This isn't just a message, it's an invitation to live a life of faith, believing that God can transform any circumstance, no matter how dire. Are you ready to take that leap? In the contemporary world, many individuals face significant challenges that can often feel overwhelming. Whether it's navigating personal crises, coping with financial stress, or dealing with health issues, these trials can erode one's sense of hope and purpose. This is where the concept of faith becomes particularly relevant. For those who find solace in spiritual beliefs, faith in a higher power serves as a beacon of hope amidst life's storms. This devotional text aims to delve into the transformative power of faith, drawing on biblical narratives and personal devotion to illustrate how belief can reshape lives and overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. The devotional explores the lives of biblical figures such as Noah, Moses, Abraham, Joseph, David, and Job, each of whom faced colossal challenges but remained steadfast in their faith. Noah built an ark in the face of ridicule, trusting God's promise to save him from a catastrophic flood. Moses led an entire nation out of slavery, relying on divine guidance. Abraham left his homeland, trusting in a future that seemed impossible. Joseph endured years of slavery and imprisonment, only to rise to a position of power. David, a shepherd boy, defeated a giant with a slingshot, and Job maintained his faith despite unimaginable suffering. These examples underscore that faith is not merely about avoiding difficulties but about trusting in a divine plan that transcends human understanding. The devotional also emphasizes the importance of prayer as a means to strengthen faith and maintain a deep connection with the divine. Prayer is not simply a ritual but a vital practice that allows individuals to pour out their hearts to God, seeking guidance, comfort, and strength. The text encourages listeners to engage in a 30-day devotional of prayer, suggesting that regular communication with God can lead to profound personal transformations. This practice is seen as a way to nurture faith, making it a living and dynamic force in one's life. Moreover, the devotional underscores that faith is not about escaping life's troubles but about facing them with an unshakable hope. It teaches that while challenges may persist, faith provides the resilience to endure and the confidence that a higher power is in control. This perspective is rooted in the belief that even small acts of faith can lead to significant changes, much like a tiny mustard seed that grows into a large tree. The devotional invites listeners to embrace this kind of faith, to trust in divine intervention, and to live with the assurance that God can transform any circumstance. This invitation extends not just to personal healing and prosperity but also to a deeper spiritual fulfillment that extends beyond earthly life to eternal rewards. We are thrilled to hear your thoughts and experiences on the transformative power of faith. As you reflect on the inspiring stories of biblical figures and the life-changing impact of faith, take a moment to share your own journey. Your unique perspective is invaluable, and your feedback can inspire others to deepen their connection with God. Don't hesitate to leave a comment or join discussions in our community. Your voice matters, and your participation can encourage others to explore and strengthen their faith. Consider subscribing to stay updated on more uplifting content and continue your journey of spiritual growth. Keep the conversation going. Your insights could be the spark someone else needs to embark on a life of unshakable faith. To fully grasp the transformative power of faith in God, it is essential to understand that faith is not merely an abstract concept, but a living, dynamic force that shapes our reality. It is a force that connects us to a God who can overcome any obstacle. The Bible is replete with examples that illustrate this powerful connection. For instance, consider the story of Noah, who built an ark despite the absurdity of the task in the eyes of his contemporaries. His faith in God's instructions led to his survival and the preservation of humanity. Similarly, Moses, who led the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt, exemplifies how trust in God can lead to liberation and miracles. In practical terms, fostering a deeper faith involves daily practices that reinforce our belief and connection to God. One effective strategy is to incorporate a devotional routine. A 30-day devotional of prayer can serve as a structured way to deepen one's faith. Each day, set aside a moment for reflection, prayer, and reading scriptures that resonate with your current circumstances. For example, if you are facing a challenging situation at work or in personal life, focusing on scriptures that highlight God's deliverance, such as Psalm 23 or Philippians 4 verse 13, can provide comfort and strength. Additionally, journaling your thoughts and experiences can help track your spiritual growth and clarify your faith journey. Another practical step is to engage in acts of service. Faith is not just about personal transformation. It is also about impacting the world around us positively. Volunteering at a local charity, helping a neighbor in need, or even simple acts of kindness can be powerful expressions of faith. These actions not only benefit others but also strengthen our own faith by aligning our lives with God's will. For instance, a person who volunteers at a homeless shelter might find that their own struggles with doubt or fear are alleviated as they witness the impact of their service. It's crucial to remember that faith does not exempt us from trials but equips us to face them with courage and hope. When facing difficulties, turning to prayer can be a lifeline. Prayer is not just about asking for help but also about expressing gratitude and acknowledging God's presence in our lives. It is a means to strengthen our faith and to sustain us through hardships. For example, someone battling an illness might find comfort in prayer, knowing that God is with them, even if the outcome is uncertain. This trust in God's sovereignty can bring peace and resilience, even in the darkest times. Finally, surrounding oneself with a community of believers can be instrumental in maintaining and growing one's faith. Fellowship with like-minded individuals provides encouragement, support, and accountability. Engaging in group prayer, Bible study, and worship can reinforce the faith journey. For instance, Joining a small group within a church can offer a supportive environment where individuals can share their struggles and triumphs, learning from each other's experiences and strengthening their collective faith. By intentionally practicing these steps, individuals can cultivate a deeper faith that not only transforms their personal lives but also impacts their communities positively. Faith, when nurtured and applied, becomes a beacon of hope and a source of strength, enabling believers to face life's challenges with unwavering trust in God's unfailing love and power. In the midst of the discussion on the transformative power of faith, a pivotal moment arises when the narrator shares a deeply personal story. The narrator recalls a time when a close friend was diagnosed with a terminal illness. The friend, despite being a devout believer, struggled with fear and doubt. The situation was dire, and medical interventions seemed futile. This friend's plight brought a profound realization: faith is not merely an abstract concept, but a lifeline in times of utter despair. The narrator remembers the day they visited the friend in the hospital. The friend's face was pale, eyes filled with worry, and the room was heavy with an aura of hopelessness. It was then that the narrator felt an urgent need to convey the true essence of faith. They shared stories of biblical figures who faced insurmountable odds but remained steadfast in their belief. The friend was reminded of how Noah built an ark despite ridicule, how Moses led the Israelites through the wilderness, and how David faced Goliath with nothing but a sling and stones. These examples served as a turning point, illustrating that faith is not about having all the answers but trusting in a power greater than oneself. The turning point was marked by the friend's decision to embrace a deeper level of faith. Instead of focusing on the grim medical reports, the friend began to engage in fervent prayer and meditation. This shift did not eliminate the illness but provided a newfound peace and resilience. The friend's family and friends, witnessing this transformation, were also inspired to deepen their own faith journey. This story underscores the urgency of understanding faith as a dynamic force that can change not just individual lives but entire communities. It is a call to recognize that even in the darkest moments, faith can bring light and hope. The narrative then delves into the practical steps one can take to cultivate such faith. The narrator suggests using a devotional guide to help focus on daily prayers and reflections. This practice, as illustrated through the friend's journey, can provide a sense of direction and strength. The urgency here is clear: faith is not a passive belief but an active engagement that requires consistent effort and trust. The friend's transformation highlights that faith is a power that can move mountains, not through magic, but through a profound connection with the divine. This connection, as the story concludes, is a lifeline that can anchor one through any storm, providing comfort, hope, and a promise of a brighter future. The concept of faith as a transformative force is deeply rooted in the teachings of Christianity. Faith is not merely a passive belief but an active trust in God's promises and power. This active trust is illustrated through the lives of biblical figures such as Noah, Moises, Abraham, Jose, Davi, and Job. Each of these individuals demonstrated unwavering faith in God, which led to significant life changes and miraculous outcomes. For instance, Noah built an ark despite not seeing rain, trusting God's warning about the flood. Moises led the Israelites out of Egypt, believing God's promise of deliverance. Abraham was willing to sacrifice his son, Isaac, trusting in God's plan. Jose endured years of hardship in Egypt, believing in God's sovereignty. Davi faced Goliath with a sling and a stone, confident in God's strength. Job endured immense suffering, maintaining his faith in God's goodness. The teachings of Jesus emphasize that faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. This is not a metaphor for magical ability but rather a reflection of God's power working through the believer. Jesus himself is the ultimate example of faith. He teaches that prayer and trust in him are essential for experiencing the fullness of life and receiving answers to prayers. The Gospels recount numerous instances where Jesus healed the sick, cast out demons, and performed miracles, all through faith. Faith is often misunderstood as a means to avoid difficulties. However, the biblical narrative shows that faith equips believers to face challenges with hope and assurance that God is in control. This is evident in stories like Job's, where he endured immense suffering yet maintained his faith, trusting that God would ultimately bring good from his trials. The promise is not that believers will be spared hardship but that they will have the strength to endure it. Prayer is a fundamental tool for strengthening faith and maintaining a close relationship with God. Regular prayer cultivates a deeper understanding of God's nature and His promises. The Bible encourages believers to pray without ceasing, 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 17, highlighting the importance of continuous communication with God. Prayer is not just about asking for things but also about aligning one's will with God's and seeking His guidance. A devotional practice, such as a 30-day prayer devotional, can be a practical way to deepen one's faith. This structured approach provides daily reflections and prayer points that help believers focus on God's Word and His promises. Such practices help in developing a consistent prayer life, which is crucial for sustaining faith during trials. The devotional can serve as a daily reminder of God's faithfulness and a means to cultivate a deeper relationship with Him. In conclusion, the power of faith is transformative and life-changing. It is not about escaping hardships but about facing them with the assurance that God is in control. Faith, prayer, and a devotional practice are essential components of a life of faith. By entrusting one's life to God and maintaining a close relationship with Him through prayer, believers can experience the fullness of life and the peace that surpasses understanding. This journey of faith is not just about personal transformation but also about experiencing God's miraculous interventions in daily life. To deepen understanding and apply the transformative power of faith practically, consider the following strategies and examples. Faith, as discussed, is not merely about believing in the impossible, but about trusting God's control over all situations. This trust can be cultivated through consistent prayer and reflection. One practical application is using a daily devotional. A 30-day devotion plan can be a structured way to build faith. For instance, dedicating a few minutes each morning to read a Bible verse, reflect on it, and pray can strengthen one's connection with God. If time is a challenge, setting aside specific intervals, like 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., can help. This routine ensures that faith is not an afterthought but a foundation of daily life. However, challenges may arise in maintaining this routine. Distractions, such as work pressures or family commitments, can disrupt a consistent prayer life. To overcome this, consider setting reminders on your phone or using a prayer journal to keep track of daily reflections. Engagement with a faith community can also provide support and accountability. For example, joining a small Bible study group can offer encouragement and shared learning experiences. Another practical strategy is to apply faith in real-life scenarios. Imagine facing a significant challenge such as job loss or a health crisis. Instead of succumbing to fear, one can rely on the promise that faith can move mountains. This doesn't mean the problem will vanish, but it provides the strength to face it with hope. Reflecting on biblical examples, like Job's perseverance, can provide inspiration. Job trusted God despite immense suffering, and his faith was ultimately rewarded. Similarly, applying this trust can help in confronting personal trials. The role of faith in overcoming fear is paramount. When anxiety about the future arises, particularly during uncertain times like a global pandemic, faith can be a beacon of hope. Reflecting on God's promises, like those in Psalm 46 verse 1, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble, can alleviate stress. Practice this by writing down worries and handing them over to God in prayer, trusting that He is in control. Moreover, faith can open doors to the supernatural. This doesn't mean expecting miraculous healings every time, but rather being open to God's work in unexpected ways. For instance, consider the story of Jose, who was sold into slavery by his brothers but rose to become a powerful leader in Egypt. His faith and trust in God's plan allowed him to see beyond his circumstances and trust in a greater purpose. To implement these ideas, start by setting small, achievable goals. For example, commit to reading one chapter of the Bible daily or praying for 10 minutes each day. Gradually increase the time and depth of engagement. Engage with a faith mentor or spiritual director who can offer guidance and support. Sharing your journey with someone who has walked a similar path can provide valuable insights and encouragement. Finally, it's crucial to remember that faith is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, but the key is to remain steadfast. Use setbacks as opportunities for growth. Reflect on them in prayer, seeking God's wisdom and strength. Regular use of a devotional or prayer journal can help track progress and stay motivated. In conclusion, the practical application of faith involves consistent prayer, reflection, and a trust in God's control. By setting achievable goals, seeking community support, and remaining steadfast, individuals can transform their lives and face challenges with hope and confidence. Faith is a dynamic force that can bring about profound changes, not by magic, but by anchoring the believer in a divine plan. To further illustrate the transformative power of faith, consider the story of George Muller, a 19th-century evangelist known for founding orphanages in Bristol, England. Muller's faith was not just a passive belief but an active trust in God's provision. Despite having no personal income, he took in thousands of orphans and fed them through prayers alone, never turning to public fundraising. Muller's orphanages were sustained by God's miraculous provision, proving that faith, even in the face of overwhelming odds, can move mountains. His journals are filled with accounts of answered prayers, demonstrating that faith is not merely an abstract concept but a tangible force that can transform lives and circumstances. Delving into the life of Joni Eareckson Tada, a quadriplegic since a diving accident at the age of 17, provides another compelling example. Joni's faith has been her anchor, allowing her to face her disability with grace and hope. Despite her physical limitations, her faith has not only sustained her but also enabled her to inspire millions through her artwork and ministry. Her testimony underscores the message that faith doesn't eliminate difficulties but equips believers to overcome them with resilience and hope. The story of Corrie ten Boom, a Dutch Christian who hid Jews during the Holocaust, offers a poignant example of faith in action. Her family's hiding house was eventually discovered, leading to their imprisonment. Despite the horrors of concentration camps, Corrie's faith remained steadfast. She credited her survival and the survival of her sister Betsy to God's protection and the power of prayer. Corrie's life story, The Hiding Place, continues to inspire, showing how faith can endure and triumph even in the darkest of times. In a more contemporary context, consider the life of Nick Vujicic, an Australian evangelist born without limbs. Nick's faith has been a beacon of hope for millions worldwide. He travels extensively, sharing his story and the message that God has a purpose for everyone, regardless of their circumstances. Nick's life is a testament to the power of faith to overcome physical and emotional challenges, providing a living example of how faith can transform lives and inspire others. For those seeking to deepen their faith, the devotional of 30 days of prayer mentioned earlier can be a pivotal tool. This devotional is designed to help individuals cultivate a deeper connection with God through daily prayer and reflection. By committing to this practice, believers can experience a renewed sense of purpose and a strengthened faith that can endure through life's trials. The devotional encourages individuals to meditate on scriptures, reflect on personal experiences, and pray for specific needs and desires. The climax of this message lies in the personal decision to embrace a life of faith. This decision is not merely about saying a prayer or attending church but about a heartfelt commitment to trust in God's promises. This commitment involves a daily surrender of one's will, a deepening of prayer life, and a willingness to follow God's guidance, even when it leads through uncertain paths. The scriptures remind us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." Jeremiah 29 verse 11. The resolution of this journey of faith is found in the eternal perspective. Faith is not just about present comforts but about an eternal hope. It is about the assurance that, despite the storms of life, there is a heavenly home prepared for those who trust in God. The Apostle Paul's words in 2 Corinthians 4 verse 18 resonate deeply, "So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." This eternal perspective is the ultimate reward of a life lived in faith, providing a sense of purpose and hope that transcends earthly trials. Research has shown that faith, particularly religious faith, has significant psychological and social benefits. According to a study published in the Journal of Religion and Health, individuals who report a strong religious faith experience lower levels of stress and depression. This correlation is attributed to the sense of purpose and meaning that faith provides, which can act as a buffer against life's challenges. For instance, a case study involving a group of cancer patients found that those with a strong religious faith had better emotional well-being and coping mechanisms compared to their non-religious counterparts. The power of faith is not limited to emotional well-being, it also has tangible effects on physical health. A meta-analysis conducted by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health revealed that people who are regularly involved in religious activities, such as attending church or praying, tend to have lower blood pressure, reduced risk of heart disease, and improved immune function. This suggests that faith can have a holistic impact on an individual's overall health. Expert opinions also support the transformative power of faith. Dr. Harold Koenig, a renowned psychiatrist and author of numerous books on religion and health, argues that faith can be a powerful coping mechanism. He notes that faith provides a framework for understanding suffering and gives individuals a sense of control and hope in the face of adversity. This perspective is echoed by Dr. Andrew Newberg, a neuroscientist who has studied the effects of religious experiences on the brain. Newberg's research indicates that spiritual practices, such as prayer and meditation, can alter brain activity in ways that promote feelings of peace and well-being. Real-world examples further illustrate the transformative power of faith. Consider the story of Nick Vujicic, a man born without arms and legs, who has become an inspirational speaker and author. Despite his physical challenges, Vujicic's unshakable faith in God has enabled him to overcome depression and inspire millions worldwide. His story is a testament to how faith can provide the strength and resilience needed to navigate life's most daunting obstacles. Similarly, the life of Martin Luther King Jr. Driven by his deep religious convictions, King led the civil rights movement, transforming societal norms and laws to promote equality and justice. His unwavering faith provided the courage and determination to face immense opposition and persecution, ultimately leading to significant social change. Psychologist William James, in his seminal work, The Varieties of Religious Experience, emphasizes that faith is not just a passive belief but an active force that can drive individuals to achieve extraordinary feats. James argues that faith, particularly in a higher power, can provide a sense of purpose and direction, enabling individuals to persevere through hardships and achieve their goals. In the context of Devotionis Evangelicos, faith is often presented as a living force that can transform realities and sustain believers through trials. The 30-day devotional of prayer suggested in the message serves as a practical tool to cultivate and deepen one's faith. By dedicating time to prayer and reflection, individuals can strengthen their relationship with God and gain clarity on their life's purpose. This structured approach to faith can help individuals navigate life's challenges with greater confidence and trust in divine guidance. In conclusion, the transformative power of faith is well documented through research, expert opinions, and real-world examples. Faith provides a source of strength, hope, and resilience that can overcome even the most daunting challenges. By embracing a life of faith, individuals can experience the profound benefits of emotional well-being, physical health, and spiritual fulfillment. The invitation to a deeper faith is not just a call to belief but a journey towards a more fulfilling and purposeful life. As we delve deeper into the transformative power of faith, it's crucial to understand how this belief system has been scientifically and empirically studied. Dr. David Myers, a prominent psychologist, has conducted extensive research on the positive effects of faith and spirituality on mental health. His studies show that people who actively engage in religious practices report lower levels of stress and higher levels of well-being. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Religion and Health found that 88% of participants who engaged in regular prayer and spiritual practices reported a significant reduction in anxiety and depression. Faith is not just about personal transformation, it also plays a pivotal role in community building. According to a report by the Pew Research Center, 71% of Americans believe that faith-based organizations play a crucial role in addressing social issues. This collective faith can lead to community resilience, where people support each other during hardships, fostering a sense of belonging and shared purpose. For example, during natural disasters, faith-based groups often step in to provide immediate relief and long-term support, exemplifying the power of community in times of crisis. Moreover, faith can be a driving force for social change. Historically, figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and Desmond Tutu have used their faith as a catalyst for justice and equality. Their actions inspire us to see that faith isn't just about personal salvation, but also about creating a better world. A study by the University of Michigan found that individuals who are engaged in faith-based communities are more likely to volunteer and engage in charitable acts, highlighting how faith can translate into tangible social impact. It's also important to address the misconception that faith is a passive act. Far from it, faith requires active engagement. The Apostle Paul, in his letter to the Philippians, encourages believers to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. This call to action emphasizes that faith is a dynamic process, requiring effort, perseverance, and a willingness to take risks. John Ortberg, a renowned pastor and author, often speaks about the necessity of faithful action. He suggests that faith without action is like a car without gas. It may look impressive, but it won't go anywhere. Furthermore, the concept of faith as a force is intriguing. In modern physics, forces are what drive motion and change. Similarly, faith in God can be seen as a spiritual force that propels individuals toward transformation and resilience. Francis Collins, a geneticist and former director of the National Institutes of Health, has written extensively about the compatibility of science and faith. He argues that faith can provide a framework for understanding the world's complexities, adding depth and meaning to scientific discoveries. Lastly, it's essential to acknowledge that faith doesn't eliminate doubts and questions. Even the most devout believers experience moments of uncertainty. What matters is how one responds to these doubts. Timothy Keller, a pastor and theologian, emphasizes the importance of doubt-filled faith. He suggests that wrestling with doubt can strengthen one's faith, as it forces individuals to dig deeper and seek more profound understanding. This dynamic process is what makes faith a living, breathing entity, capable of evolving and adapting to life's challenges. In summary, faith is more than just a belief, it's a transformative force that impacts mental health, community resilience, social change, and personal growth. By understanding its multifaceted nature and actively engaging in it, individuals can experience a life of deeper meaning and purpose. The journey of faith is not just about reaching a destination but about the continual process of growth and discovery.